Everybody having problems. To pay the employees, well, you used the cash from the inventory, and then you didn't have any inventory.
In the process of all this, I had to borrow money to put in the stores, and with the farm as collateral, it went down from there. So we had no recourse but to just close them up. And it was 40 years of hard work that seemed to disappear all at once. It wasn't a very easy thing to adjust to, but...
And now you can see Irvin's still saddened a lot. It certainly wasn't what he planned. But we had a lot of good times, so, you know, he did a lot of things. He knows lots of people, and they respect him, and so I don't know what else you're going to get out of him.
To close that store, and that was a Sunday morning, and I went down to open, and just...
Yeah, I remember coming downstairs and sat down on the couch, and Mom told me, and I started crying. Like a family member, we were there every day, and it was a big part of our life. It was probably my favorite place. I liked being there.
They wanted it for me, and I love them to death for it. But, you know, they wanted it for me and my family.
And if Walmart still gains ground and have a monopoly, where will our families and where will our children be, and what will they have to do to work and to be competitive? And in 10 years that the spiral is going, it could be very, very serious for the nation. It might happen that way now. I hope it don't, for our children's sake. But it could be real serious. Be a revolution. I won't say it'd be a civil war, but it'd be a revolution. And I don't think anybody wants that.
I'm Kim Arcetta, and I'm a 4th and 5th grade bilingual teacher in Denver, Colorado, in the Denver Public Schools at Newland Elementary School. And Walmart received subsidies of about $1.7 million. And with that $1.7 million, our Denver metropolitan area, that could have kept the 3 schools that we just closed down this spring open.
I'm Monica Jefferson. I'm a speech-language pathologist, and I work for Special School District of St. Louis County. Walmart receives over $31 million in subsidy from the Missouri government.
Cathedral City made a $1.8 million investment, but because of Walmart's lies and not stepping up to the plate with their commitments, we're short on policemen, we're short on firemen, we've eliminated the recreation division of the city. We're not able to provide the services to our residents that they need and deserve. And we're going to have lives hanging in the balance because we're not going to be able to provide these services.
My name is Charles Haase. I've been a 4th grade teacher in Washington State for many years. When I think of the $1 million that Walmart received for its distribution center and what we could have done there for students, it's outrageous.
Taking revenue away from our community that will have a direct impact on our ability to continue to provide some level of service.
In Illinois, Walmart has received $100 million in subsidies, and that has affected our school systems. That money could go into our school systems to rehire all of those support teachers that we need back, those support personnel. We could have our school psychologists back, our social workers back, our counselors back. We could pick up, and these programs are being cut because Walmart has received subsidies.
Now, what we're facing currently is that Walmart and Sam's Club, which are the same people, for all intents and purposes, have, in fact, for business purposes, decided that they are going to leave our community.
And not moving 20 miles away, they were moving 2 miles away. Not
very far away. In fact, one is being built within, right on the property line of our city, which we still will not receive any benefit from.
Just outside the city limits. So just as we were about to begin to receive 100% of the sales tax revenue from that deal, we found out that we'd been the chumps. You end up with a vacant building of the size that most businesses can't fill. So you have a huge building that sits vacant for months and years.
That's why at Walmart, we give back $5 every second to the communities we serve throughout the holidays and all year long. To make the season and every day a little brighter.
But you know, responsible citizenship also means looking out for the environment. We can make a difference in this area of sustainability.
One of the most exciting things about a Riverkeeper organization is working with the public. And we have a lot of volunteers that volunteer to keep their part of the Catawba River. Because the Catawba River is dammed 11 times and has 11 lakes on it, we have lakes with coves. And so we call our volunteers cove keepers. And these cove keepers work to safeguard and protect the Catawba River.
Essentially, we did an investigation and we visited about 7 Walmarts in the Catawba River Valley to see what their environmental practices were and judge whether their current environmental practices would have an impact on the drinking water of the town of Belmont. And what we found in every single case is that Walmart had a practice of storing herbicides, pesticides, and fertilizers in the parking lots. What concerned us most about this particular case was the proximity of this Walmart and the creek running right by the Walmart site, and that creek empties right here at the intake site. For me, when I'm out on patrol and on the river and there's a drinking water intake right there, what I know is that there's a mom somewhere who's at a kitchen sink and she's putting water in a bottle to make formula for a baby, and that baby is drinking. The labels on some of the herbicides and pesticides said this product known to cause reproductive harm by the state of California and birth defects. These pallets with bags and bags of this material, many of them broken and busted and spilling on the pavement, every time it rained, all this material was washing right into the stormwater and eventually making its way here to the Catawba River, the source of drinking water for almost 2 million people in the region. So we began calling Walmart to really express our concern about these chemicals making its way into the public drinking water. And they gave me a name and a phone number of somebody in Arkansas, the headquarters, to call. And that person, when I talked to them, it wasn't the right person. They said they didn't think they had an environmental person that was in charge of handling environmental affairs, but they would try and find out.
Tim, this is Donna Lisson.
They never called. So again, I called back, and this time I called their attorneys. I called the person, the contact name they gave me. I called their attorneys and said, look, I'm not getting any answer from anyone at corporate Walmart. And because I haven't, I'm going to start a weblog. And every contact I have with you, I'm going to put on my website and report what your response is. And if there's no response, that's what's going to be on our website. And so that's what I did. 2 or 3 days later, they still didn't call back. We then sent them the law, and I elevated the rhetoric and said it appears to us as if you're violating the storage laws. We are getting ready to contact our attorneys. Still, no one called. Finally, the attorneys for Walmart who had testified in the hearing gave me the name of a person that they thought was their contact. I finally reached that person at Walmart headquarters in Arkansas, and he said he had just started the job. He had been in training for the last 2 weeks, and he didn't know what to tell me. So at this time, I started calling the news media and asking them to do a story. We got a great local news station here in Charlotte, North Carolina that responded on camera showing these pallets and pallets and pallets of chemicals, herbicides, fertilizers stored in the parking lots right beside the stormwater drain. It ran in the morning, the noontime, the 6 o'clock, and the evening news on that day. It just so happens that the Walmart manager for the local story where most of the video was shot, that had 81 pallets of this material out in the parking lot, saw the story. Called his regional manager first thing the next day and said, you won't believe what I saw on the news last night. And for all his stores in the region, he